Jankovich?
Oh, it's great. You know, I'm really mostly happy because I think our guys deserve it. And if I'd have been the voter, I would have voted for us a long time ago. But you know, I'm not voting. But I'm happy for them. I think they deserve the recognition. And that's really what it is recognition.
How much did you guys talk about that maybe in previous weeks when you weren't in the polls? Was it really
Zero. Yeah, to be exact, not once. Because I don't think that's, you know, that means your goal is to get recognition, and I think the goal is far bigger than that. So we don't talk about that, but certainly we'll, you know, talk about it a little bit, just say congratulations, and also what comes with it makes the road a little bit tougher. You know, you got a little bit bigger bullseye on your back than you normally do, so I have to deal with that. But I'm happy. I really am.
You know, does that make this week a little bigger than it already was?
Not bigger at all, but harder, just because human nature, whenever you place someone that has a number beside their name when they come into your place, I think you're just always going to get a different effort, you know, and definitely the success that we've had, probably we're not sneaking up on anyone anyway, but whenever someone's ranked, there's just a little bit of different intensity in the building. So I don't think it makes it any bigger. The stakes are exactly like they would have been without a ranking, but the road gets tougher, I think.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, you called Sterling the ultimate fighter. Saturday, he was
I told you.
A scorer.
Yeah.
What did you see from him over the season, or even just as he's been here? How he's improved offensively as a scorer?
Well, you know, he's from the time he got here, he's worked so hard on his shot. He went from a guy, and I remember talking to him as a freshman early on when he was here and said, "I'm just telling you now, you gotta become a shooter. It's got to be a big part, because teams will learn how to, you know, defend guys that have weaknesses, and you can tell that, I mean, who's worked much harder than him, he's turned into not a good shooter, but a great shooter. And so he's gone with all the rest of the game that he had, which was driving, posting, rebounding, toughness plays, and now all of a sudden he's a great shooter. And he can shoot off the catch, he can shoot off the dribble now, he can shoot it on the move, he doesn't have to be set. I mean, he's a real weapon in a lot of ways, and I'm happy for him this week.
When you watch him hit a shot, you know, off a dribble or just kind of right in the guy's face, when you looked in 3 years ago, did you think he'd ever get to that point, or just?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just knew that he's going to need to become the player he wanted to be, and I'm not surprised, as we've got to know him over the years. He's so competitive that if he thinks he needs to do that, then by gosh, he's going to do it. And he, like every other guy on our team, is spending countless hours in the gym outside of our practice time, because they get it. You know, this is their stakes are high, our stakes are high, and they're mature enough now to know that you don't just show up to practice and go home and start worrying about everything else and achieve the things at the highest level. And he really works at it.
You know, when him and Shake are both playing at that level, I mean, what does that bring y'all backcourt?
It means we got a great backcourt. That's what it means. We got a great backcourt. And you look at the last couple, if you're going to talk about those two guys, whose backcourt has played better than that pair over the last couple weeks. I'm sure there's some that are playing great, but gosh, I know I wouldn't trade them.
Do you feel like you have to have, you know, to do what y'all want to do in March, you have to have not just one, but at least two solid guards on the floor?
You got to have a lot of things to do well in March. You've got to have, you can't have many weaknesses at all. And I've been saying this from day one. One of the real strengths of our team is the number of guys that can have a big night. So I don't think you can key your defense on one or two guys with us at all. And that, to me, is one of the, when I say you can't have weaknesses, that's one of our real strengths. It's not a weakness of ours. So I love that about this group.
That looked kind of obvious on Saturday when, you know, Shake starts making shots early, up over there, and Sterling starts getting going, and then Shemi later on. And how big was that exactly in Saturday's win?
Well, it's what we needed. You know, we really played poorly offensively to start the game for the most part. We pretty uncharacteristic. We're turning it over. A lot of travels and some bad decisions, which we don't usually make. And I give Tulsa credit. I think we probably were a little bit sped up, but which is not characteristic at all. But we settled down, and then you know, kind of got into some rhythm. And when we get into rhythm, guys start getting good shots, and usually one or two guys get hot, and definitely Sterling got really hot, really hot. And Shake was, you know, Shake's been shooting the ball as well as anyone in the country lately.
Do you think the Temple game? Have you warned your guys like don't let this be a trap game for y'all with the game against Cincy at home on Sunday?
Not yet, because honestly we were off, and so I'm getting ready to, you know, to talk to him. But definitely, you know, we've been so single-minded the whole year, and I definitely will talk about that a little bit. But these guys, I think they understand. They're pretty mature. They're pretty smart. You know, we haven't had a game yet, not once, where I felt like we weren't ready to play. We weren't up for the challenge. Not one. Well, maybe one, a long time ago. But we're not going there. That was in a whole different year, 17,000 years ago. But for the longest time, we have prepared for the challenge, and our guys have met the challenge, and so I don't worry that much about them. They're really mature that way.
I mean, do you think that mix, you know, with the ranking and then with you having Cincy at home, there's almost enough there to where you kind of have all the factors as a coach that might scare you a little bit when you got to.
If it was a different team, it would, but not this group. No, they're smarter than that. They're smarter than to think there's any easy games. They're smarter than to think that there's ever a road game ever that's an easy game. They've been through enough to know those things, and I'm not worried about that. No. All right.